The standard here is ARCH.7.NS.A.2.D.7.2g. The learning target is I can convert fractions to decimals and classify as terminating or repeating. So let's start with an example. 2/3 is a fraction. 2, the numerator, is the dividend, and if it helps you to have a mnemonic, I call it the cake. 3 is the denominator, which is the divisor, and it's the spatula. So if the spatula cuts the cake, maybe that helps you remember that the 3, the denominator, would go outside the division box. And you have 2 here. When the 3 does not go into 2, as you can see, you would place a visible decimal point right here, then start creating zeros. So 3 goes into 20 6 times. 6 times 3 equals 18. Subtract that. You have to borrow from the 2 here. So 10 minus 8 is 2. Bring down the 0, and you're left with 20, which is what you started with. So again, you're going to put a 6 and go through the same process, and your remainder will always be 20. So as you can see, a repeating 6 seems to go on forever. So we write an answer. Traditionally, you'll put a 0 in front of the decimal point, and then you'll write the number 6 only one time, and this is called a vinculum, and it's a little bar that represents this group will be repeated, and this number that is repeated is called the repetend. Repeat end. So example number 2. 3/4 is a fraction. 3, the numerator, is the dividend. 4, the denominator, is divisor. So you have 3 divided by 4. 4 doesn't go into 3 at all, so we place a decimal point, start creating zeros. Since 4 times 7 is 28, we subtract that from 30. Bring down the 2, bring down the 0. 4 does go into 20, or 20 is divisible by 4 5 times. 5 times 4 equals 20. So here, since the remainder is 0, this is classified as terminating because 3 divided by 4 equals 0.75. Again, you can put a 0 there, 0.75. As a side note, when you use a calculator for 2/3 or 2 divided by 3, I do want to show you that you will see 0.666 and however many digits until you get to the last digit, which becomes a 7. This is because the calculator rounded the 6 up to a 7. If calculators had an infinity screen, the only numbers you would see would be 6s. Second side note, if a quotient ends as several repeating digits, put the vinculum over them. So for example, if you had a solution that was 6.234, etc., you would write it 6 point, and then you're going to write the 234 only one time with the vinculum over the repeating digits. And that's the end of this lesson.